guys, this would be an absolute W, like easy W.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
Okay, I want to dive like straight into this because this news actually got me really excited, and I'm going to be gone for the next week or so. So I want to get on this now. Okay, we got to get on this now. Now, before we do, please support Spurs Invasion. I finished up the Jeremy Sohan video that will be up on this channel within the next day or so. So it should be Monday on the 22nd or Tuesday on the 23rd, but more than likely I'm shooting for Monday. So if you guys want to support this channel, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is a second channel in which I do scripted and edited content. So I have one coming out on Sohan, on how he is the most hated player in the NBA, but just my overall thoughts about him and why I think he's essential to our rebuild. So go check that out. Spurs Invasion, baby. All right, guys, huge news here. Huge news. The Spurs could be eyeing Cam Johnson in bid to bolster roster around Wembanyama. So we've gotten some reports here that the Spurs could be going after Cam Johnson. Now, I know what you're thinking. All right, you're like, I'm cool with it. I like Cam Johnson, right? You look at his stats and you're like, yeah, Clint, I get it. He's a small forward. He's what we need. He's a little bit older, right? He's like 28, but he's what we need, right? He can shoot the ball very well. I mean, nearly 45% just a couple seasons ago. But this past season, 39%. So yeah, he's what we need. Yeah, he fits the position. He fits everything. But what are we giving up? I mean, that's the big question. Like, what do we have to give up for him, Clan? And what I have to say is this, okay? All you would have to give up, according to reports, is Keldon Johnson and draft compensation. Don't know what the draft compensation looks like. Obviously, we're probably not going to give them any of our 2025s. The only thing from 2025 I would give them is maybe the Hornets, maybe, just because that one probably won't convey. But other than that, there's nothing I think the Spurs will really give up. But if they are willing to give up Keldon Johnson and, maybe a future first, maybe, or we got plenty of seconds, so maybe you can pack on 5 seconds if you want. We can afford to do that and still have 50 million more. There's many different things that the Spurs can do, but Keldon Johnson would be more than likely the trade here. And Keldon Johnson for Cam Johnson is a great deal, and I think Keldon Johnson with his contract makes him pretty enticing as well. That diminishing contract, especially when things are ramping up with contracts around the NBA. So Cam Johnson, a 6'8", 210-pound standout who can play both the small forward and power forward positions, was the 11th overall pick in 2029 NBA draft. He reached the 2021 NBA Finals, so you definitely got some experience there in Phoenix during his second year in the league, and spent 4 seasons with the Suns before being traded to the Brooklyn Nets February 2023. But moving on, here's another report here in which they basically just said, just to sum it up to you, that the Spurs could very well be a dark horse for our boy Cam Johnson here. And then we have Spurs reporter just giving his opinion, basically saying he thinks that the Spurs will more than likely be talking to the Nets, especially when they're trying to ship quite a few people out. But it's some really good stuff here. Now, as far as finances goes, it says right here, Johnson is under a reasonable contract through 26-27 season, giving the Spurs long-term control if they were to acquire him. Last year, Johnson signed a 4-year, $94.5 million contract for the Brooklyn Nets, which included $90 million guaranteed. But you can see here, not bad at all, okay? And this isn't a matter of, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you on who's a better player. I'm not going to sit here and say, is Cam Johnson a better player than Keldon Johnson? I don't think it's that. I think it really comes down to fit. At this point, I've been very open and adamant that I just don't see how Keldon Johnson fits with this team. Now, it could very well, at the end of the day, they figure it out and Keldon Johnson's defense improves and he's a good 3-and-D for us, coming off the bench. I just don't think that that's the case. The Spurs have a lot of things to figure out, and I feel like this past season, especially with Keldon being the longest tenured Spur that we have on that current roster, that it's pretty obvious that he's just not necessarily going to fit. Now, I don't think the Spurs are done. We'll wait and see if anything happens. If he's with the Spurs, it's not like I'm going to spend my whole time this season saying I want Keldon off the team. I will wish the best for our team. I will cheer on Keldon when he dunks and he yells and he gets excited. I don't know what my computer was doing. But at the end of the day, right now, you know, now once the season started, I'll be on the Keldon train. All right, I will support. But right now, as it stands, I don't think Keldon fits this team. And if you were to go after Cam Johnson, that's actually an absolute W as far as fit, what the Spurs need right now. And I think that he will, you know, and everyone talks about how we need shooting, but I think he comes in pretty nicely. And oh yeah, I probably need to read this over too. So it says Johnson would also bring diverse offensive skills, but in particular, his career average of 39.2% from three range would help space the floor for the Spurs. That skill might benefit a player like Victor Wembanyama, who can dominate inside the most. Having played in the NBA Finals and numerous playoff games, Johnson would also add valuable experience to young Spurs team. Exactly. And also, I think that it benefits Castle as well, because, you know, Castle will find that open guy. Guys, we are in a really good spot. I'm really excited about this. I hope and pray that this can actually go through, because I think that this is a phenomenal pickup. I don't know what the Nets asking price is, but it would be pretty nice if they're like, yeah, we'll take Keldon and a few picks. Also, how old is Keldon Johnson? 24. Keldon Johnson is 24. So, I mean, he is much older than Keldon. 4 years in the NBA is much older. But hey, good position that the Spurs are in. Hopefully we make something happen. I definitely want to hear what you guys think of that. And just, you know, comparison's sake. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll do stat for stat. Kind of. Not fully. We'll do stat for where it matters most. All right, so we can see here. So Cam Johnson averaged 39% over the course of his entire career. And as far as Keldon Johnson is concerned, his third year in the NBA is where he averaged 39. Now, this first year, God, I feel like you should just take this one off. Honestly, you shouldn't average this one with everything else. But you can see here, 3-point percentage was 59% when he first got in the league, but that was just, he wasn't taking that many. But as it goes on, I think that we can reliably say that Keldon is around 34% overall. And this season really kind of disappointed me, because I thought that he would benefit the most and his percentage would even be higher than, and this is not bad. 34% is not bad. But it's just one of those things where I don't think he brings enough on in other facets of the game for us to for it to be worth it, right? If he was great defensively or something like that, then I'm cool with it. I'm with it, but that's not necessarily the case. And then you look at Cam Johnson, like I said, where it matters most, 39%. That's insane. That's insane. So we're in a really great spot here, man. I hope that the Spurs can make something happen. You guys let me know what you think. Do you think this is a good deal, bad deal? You know, whatever's on your mind, all right? I will listen. I'll give it to you guys later, man. Until next time, bye.